Welcome, good evening to all of you. This is a brainchild of mine. I thought I'll just start a book club and see where it goes, where it takes off. This is an introductory meeting. I'm going to share what my thoughts are around this. What is it that I am planning? And obviously, I welcome suggestions, feedback, thoughts, questions, as and when they come, because it's a small group. You can just stop me, unmute yourself, and ask any question that comes to your mind. Or you could put it in the chat and I'll take it towards the end of this call. So either way is I'm going to, if you're not talking, please mute yourself so that there is no disturbance. Or now I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. Thank you so much. So I have a small deck. It will not take a long time, about 15-20 minutes. I'll share my perspective and then we'll open it up for any questions or thoughts or feedback. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. So this is a beautiful quote by Barack Obama that I love. And he says that reading is the gateway skill that makes all other learning possible. So essentially, we are getting into that journey of discovering more and more about ourselves and about other people across the world, different genres, different authors, and just expand our imagination, expand our awareness, expand our thoughts by reading books. And, Books and Beyond, that's a name that I really was attracted to because books take us beyond our imagination. So that's the reason I said, okay, Books and Beyond it is, and we'll go with that, unless I find a better name and I rename it again. So Books and Beyond. And who am I? For some of you who don't know me, and we're meeting for the first time on this platform. So my name is Shekharan. I am the founder and CEO of Engage to Transform. In my daily, job as a daily professional, I'm a career transformation coach. I work with corporate leaders, turn around their careers, enabling them to lead a more fulfilling, fun-filled, and purpose-driven life. So that's who I am on a day-to-day basis. This is a hobby of mine. I'm an avid reader. I have also published a book, like you can see, it's called the Career Accelerator Formula. It's around career acceleration, career growth. I published it in 2019. And I love books. I love reading books. I love getting transported to a different world through books. So that's who I am. And I also enjoy experimenting with new ideas. So that's what I have been doing this year. So along with being a coach, working with my clients and working with leaders from corporate industry, I also experiment on some new thoughts, new ideas, new platforms, and BNB is one such initiative. So why Books and Beyond? What prompted me to really set up this platform and invite all of you to participate in this platform are, the reason is multifold. The first and foremost reason is that actually I have joined a book club, which is separate, and I've been part of that book club for the last 8-9 months, and I have seen that the habit of reading, which I had literally lost last year, or I could read just a couple of books during the entire year. Most of my books were unfinished where I could not bring them to closure. So I used to read and leave them in between because there was no accountability, there was no commitment. It was all left to my own self. And we all know that, motivation is hard to come when we are just on our own, and we can easily deceive ourselves and we can give up all the promises that we make to ourselves. So that's what was happening to me last year. And then I joined this book club. And now my reading consistency has improved. I've become much more disciplined. I'm more accountable. And in the last 9 months, I have finished 15 books and I have read them like from front to back. So I finished it. In fact, some of the books I have even read twice or thrice. So that's what prompted me to think that if I can do it, then I can create a platform which will enable others who are also interested in reading, but they are not able to do it for some reason. So why don't I experiment and see if there are people like me who would be interested to become a part of a club and then experiment, read, and enjoy a different world. It takes us beyond. So that's what Books and Beyond is. So that was essentially the reason. But other than that, I felt there is a market need. I was looking for book clubs and I didn't see too many. So that's why I thought, okay, why not? I create a solution to a problem that exists. The second thing was, like I said, I work with leaders and a lot of them wanted to be good readers and they wanted to be consistent and with the practice of I request everybody to mute yourself. Request everyone to mute yourself, please. Okay, thank you. So it was coming up very frequently in my conversations with leaders that they do want to read, but unfortunately they are not able to create a habit of reading. So I thought, okay, let me try something in this area. The third is that it was very aligned to my purpose and my passion and the work that I do on a daily basis. It also provides me an opportunity to add value to the community, give back in whichever way I can. So that was another reason. And then finally, the best part is we build a community of like-minded readers. Everybody who's reading and we are reading the same book. So it becomes even more interesting to understand different perspectives, different thoughts, have different discussions, be accountable to each other, and then just enjoy the journey of being together. So those were some of the reasons why I thought that I'll experiment and create this startup and see where it takes me and where it takes everybody else who joins me on this journey. So essentially, like I said, I have read about 15 books in this year, and this is just a snapshot of all of those books. They are business related, they are fiction, they are also in the self-help category. There are some autobiographies, there are some biographies. So there are different kinds of books that I have explored. And some of the authors I didn't even know before I joined this book club. So thanks to this book club where I was introduced to new authors, new genres, new books, and they became a part of my journey as well. So hopefully, I still have 3 months to go. I should hit, 20 is what I am planning. And that's my goal for this year. So what's the mission and vision of BNB? The mission is very simple. It is to provide an easy, affordable, interesting, open and friendly platform for readers to expand their literary knowledge, learn and grow together with a community of like-minded people. That's essentially what I am thinking about. And that's the mission that I am on. The vision that I have based on this mission is to reach people, reach masses, because this is not restricted. Anybody can join this club. So reach masses to make reading accessible and fun, thus building awareness and enabling continuous growth. So I'm a very firm believer that the more we read, the more we grow, because the more we expand our awareness. And it's like, once you stretch your rubber band, you cannot actually compress it. So once your mind is stretched, you have experimented and built your awareness, and your mind is now looking at many other stories and views and concepts, then it is very difficult for it to come back to its narrow way of thinking. So reading helps us to kind of build up on that and expand that. So that's the mission and vision of why I came up with this concept and what I'm working with it now. Okay, so the interesting part now is about the format and logistics. So how is this going to run? And what are my initial thoughts around it? And like I said, it's going to be very flexible. So whatever feedback, suggestions you have, I'm absolutely flexible to experiment with those things as we continue the journey. So to begin with, we will begin, we'll start with one book a month. And that doesn't mean that you have to restrict to one book. If anybody wants, you can also read 2 books a month. But minimum will be 1 book, and we will all decide that book based on vote and based on what everybody wants to go with. The first couple of months, probably I will suggest, and then we'll open it up as we get along and as we understand what we're doing together. So it will be 1 book a month, different genres, because I have seen personally that if we read a similar book for a similar genre book for a long time, it gets very repetitive and it gets very boring sometimes. So it is interesting to keep rotating the genre. So it could be 1 month fiction, 1 month biography, 1 month could be self-help, leadership, so we'll experiment with what works best with the group that onboards and gets aligned to this initiative. So we will keep it flexible and we'll keep it interesting. Another thought that came to my mind was that we will assign reading buddies. So, assuming we have about 20 people in the group, then each person will have a reading buddy. And having accountability, data and research shows that the probability that you will get through your goal and you will actually finish what you've started increases when there is an accountability partner. So we will, we'll work around that. And the other thing that happens is actually helps us to expand our network and talk to people who are a little different than us, a little unlike us, and then build upon that that relationship. So reading buddies will be there. And then we will meet every month, last Saturday. And in case somebody is not able to attend that meeting, we will record it so that it is accessible even after that. So this will be, because again, last Saturday, a lot of people said and opted for this. And that is why I'm choosing last Saturday as the preferred day for most of us. So we will meet. And what do we do in that meeting? We actually have very, very interesting discussions. And the entire meeting, it will be about 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the number of people. What we do is we essentially discuss that book. So we discuss the different perspectives. We discuss what have been your specific takeaways. What did you understand from reading that book? And it can be very conflicting to what somebody else has. So there are no do's and don'ts of this meeting. It's open, it's safe. So everybody can come and talk about what you want to say about that book. And if your understanding is very different from the other person, that's absolutely fine. So we'll do that, on a monthly basis. There are different formats in which you can engage with the book. So personally, for me, I like to hold the book and read. It gives me a lot of, insights, and I always have a pencil and I take notes and I underline. So, that's the way I engage with the book. That's how I feel attached to the book. So you could choose a hard copy. There are PDFs available for a lot of books. So I'll share PDF if I can, and you can, digitally read the book, or there's Kindle always, or there are audiobooks. So a lot of books these days also have audiobooks on YouTube. So it's possible that you are exercising, you're walking, and you are listening to the book. So any way which is comfortable to you is a good way. So there's no right or wrong in this. The idea is that we finish that book by the end of the month. And, when we're talking about accountability, we will also have, a group which is different from the current group. Once we finalize who are the people, we'll have a group, and everybody, will post at the end of the day that if we decide to read 2 pages or 3 pages, so you'll just say that, yeah, day 1, 5 pages, tick. So we know that we are moving on and everybody's reading the book that you have committed to. So that way, if you have to post a message at the end of the day, then you will create the time to read that book, and you will create the time to do what you have promised the group to do. Okay. So that's the format part. And then, max of between 20 to 25 people is what I'm thinking right now. Again, depends on how many people actually commit to getting onboarded to this initiative. And a little bit of fun from my side, the person who's most consistent during the month will get rewarded. So I will, a small reward from my side for a person who's consistent and who delivers to her promise. So that's from my side. All right, so I'll take a pause here, and in case anybody has questions till now, your thoughts, anything that you want to say, is that aligned to what you came to this, to this meeting, or you had something else in mind? Just feel free to share. You can unmute yourself and talk. Let me look at the chat. Okay, yeah, Gunjan, 15.
Well, Deepa, I think this is, at least for me, this is good, because I am looking for, so I used to be a bookworm back in my college days. And after I started working and with the kids and everything, it's just gets harder and harder to sort of pick up a book and finish it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think 15 is awesome in 9 months, right?
Yeah.
I would like to get to that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So I experience and I hear what you're saying, because last year it was the same thing for me. I pick books, I buy a lot of books, and they're all lying there unfinished. And my daughter was like, why are you buying a new book if you can't finish your previous books? So this year has been amazing for me. And I myself, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. So it's easy. It's not very difficult. And accountability helps us reach there. So that's what I have experienced. All right. So let's keep moving forward. how will it help you? Because a lot of us are new readers as well. Not everybody has read books, or there are some people who said that they're just beginners and they haven't yet read a lot of books. So I thought it would be a good idea to also show how reading could benefit you. So one, you read at least one book a month. So assuming that we go on for like 6 months to a year, that's 12 books in a year. Assuming you're just doing one book every month, it helps you to expand your thoughts, your awareness with new ideas, models, frameworks, concepts. And all of these help us to become better in life and at work. And it doesn't matter whether you're a student, or we are just we are playing the role of a housewife, or we are in a corporate, or we are in different places, but at the end of it, all of us are leaders because we're leading ourselves. So all of these things help us to expand our understanding of how to live life. So that's how I look at books. Then it expands your network, like I said. Also, what reading does is it helps us enhance our skills such as leadership, presentation, communication, vocabulary. That's like a big takeaway. Consistency, discipline. Just imagine if you can finish 12 books in a month, 12 books in a year. You really need to get consistent and disciplined about it. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So you build those skills, and all of these skills are like muscles. The more we use them, the more they get built. And recent science says neuroplasticity. That's another buzzword and one of my favorite topics, where we rewire the neurons that wire together, fire together, wire together. So the more you use something, the more you build upon it. So all of these skills over a period of time get built, and it becomes easier and easier to then utilize them in all areas of your life. So if you become consistent and disciplined in reading, that same skill will also be applied in, for example, getting up in the morning, or having a healthy breakfast, or going to sleep on time. So it impacts all areas of our life. And then finally, we participate in book discussions every month to explore different perspectives through engaging discussions, summaries, resources from the books, discussion about the author, other books that the author might have written. So there are a lot of ways in which we can engage from the book. So these are a few, highlights of what happens when you start reading, and what might happen for you, what might be your takeaways, when you join this platform. All right. So now the important part of it. So those were the logistics. That's the format. Some takeaways for you if you decide to get onboarded. What's the investment? The first investment is a book, right? So like I said, I love holding a book and reading. So I generally buy the book, and then I enjoy reading it, and it's there for me for a long time. Like I said, I take notes, I underline, so I can go back and revisit some books again and again related to my business, profession, those kind of things. So that's my personal way of reading. But if you don't want to buy a book, you can have a PDF or audiobook. So the first investment is a book. The second investment is a commitment to about 30 to 40 minutes every day. That's important, because if you're not spending this much time, then you will not be able to be accountable to either your reading buddy, or to the group, or to the club. So 30 to 40 minutes every day minimum. If you want to spend more than that, you are absolutely welcome. And the third important thing is accountability, 2 ways, with your reading buddy and on the group. And then there is a minor, investment in terms of price. So there is a $11.99 per month investment that is needed to join this book club. So that's the investment which would be needed. And next steps is you commit by paying the fees, at least letting me know if you're interested and you want to go ahead, so that I get a confirmed participation. And then anybody who decides to say yes and you are in, then we will get together. I'll form a separate group. We'll meet for about 45 minutes in the coming week, and then we'll kick off the formal reading process. So I'll share the book that we're going to read next month, and I'll get the reading buddies allocated, and we'll start our journey. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. No complications, simple and easy. So if anybody has any questions, you can unmute, you can ask, you can share, and I'm available to answer anything that you might have.
Hi, Deepa. This is Meghna.
Hi, Meghna.
The good initiative. I just want to appreciate you for this uh, innovative initiative, and I'm into this.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome, Meghna.
Yeah.
Thank you. So does that answer any questions that anybody might have around how would it work? What would be the logistics? And it would be a Zoom meeting. So when we meet on the last Saturday, I'll share a Zoom link like we are doing right now. The only requirement will be that all of you will have to show your videos so that we can see each other and engage. It always helps to engage when we are knowing who we are talking to. So that is the only requirement. Other than that, yeah, and sometimes it also happens if you're wondering, will I be able to finish all books every month? It happens that you are not able to, and that's absolutely fine. You can still come to the meeting and hear what others have to say. That increases the curiosity, and then next month you will go back and read it. So I have seen that happen a lot of times. So if you're thinking, will I be able to finish the book, because I haven't read, even if you are not able to do it, it's absolutely fine. But we'll begin with, very, very short books. And the next book that we are going to start with is a very, very interesting, beautiful life journey. It's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I don't know if anybody of you have read it, but it's only 125 pages book with a lot of illustrations, and anybody can read it, right? From a teenager to a very, very, from 8 to 80, as the author says, from 8 to 80, anybody can read this book. So that's going to be our first book, and we'll have fun reading it together.
Hi, Deepa, can you hear me?
Yes, Smita.
Yeah, thank you for initiating this. And I'm not an voracious reader, but I love to start doing this. And I started doing the in a game of tennis every day, reading 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. But it is tough also. So thank you for initiating this. I would love to improve my reading habit.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much. And it's fun when we read with others. And sometimes what happens is that we understood the story or a certain section of the book in a different way. But when people talk about it, they have interpreted that same thing in a very different way. So that actually goes back to how we are conditioned to understand and create meanings of different situations around us. So it just also helps us open up and understand others more, and become more empathetic to the needs and to the understanding and to the meanings of people's lives and situations. So that is also a very big outcome of having discussions around the book. That's what I have observed. Anybody else has any questions, any thoughts? So as next steps, I would request all of you to, just send me a message, or probably we can do it right now. So Smita and Meghna said that they are in. If you are also in, just say it or put it in the chat so that I know that, there's a confirmed number, and then we'll get started with it. So if you are in, either you can ping me on WhatsApp or you can put it here. Gunjan says she's in. Okay, thank you, Gunjan. Thanks for confirming.
Hi, Deepa. Shivani, I'm in, definitely.
Oh, Shivani is in. Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Shivani.
I hope I get to read some varied books. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, wonderful. So we'll do that. We'll explore a variety of books and genres and authors. So Rashmika is also in. Wonderful. So, a student with us. So she's doing her undergrad, and Rashmika is also an avid reader. So she reads a lot of different varieties of books. So we're going to learn from her and see which books we can invest our time in. Excellent. All right. So as next steps, I don't want to hold you here on a Saturday evening. Sirisha is also in. Okay, good. Ankita is in. Wonderful, wonderful. That's absolutely great. It's so good to see all of you saying yes here. So as next steps, I would request all of you to just do a, GPay to my number. All of you have my number. You can just do a GPay, and that will give like the firm commitment. And once I have a confirmed number, I'll publish a date when we'll have our final meeting and we'll get started. In case you do GPay and I don't get the required number to start, I'll obviously refund your money. So I'm not going to, keep it if you're not starting. So, but I do want to know the confirmed number before we can officially get started. So, between today, tomorrow, if you can do that, then we'll get started as soon as we can.
Deepa, quick question. I'm sorry I missed the name of the book. My son was saying something, so I sort of didn't hear you.
Yeah, so I'll put it on the
Okay.
WhatsApp. I'll put it, or I'll ping you, and I'll
Okay.
put it here also in case others don't. It's called The Boy, the Mole, Fox, and the Horse. It's a long name, but it's a very beautiful. It's a chota sa book, but it's a very beautiful book. Every word of that book is so profound, and I've read this multiple times. Like in 1 month, we can actually finish the book in an hour, but you can read it 4 or 5 times, and you will get different perspectives and different meanings from that one statement that comes in the book. So, how much is the amount? I think on Amazon it is around 500. If you buy the copy, I have a PDF. I'll also share the PDF if you don't want to buy the book. So
No, Deepa, about the GPay you mentioned.
GPay is $11.99.
Is it per month?
$11.99 per month.
11.99 or 7. Oh.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, everybody, for creating this time and hearing me out. I hope it excites you as much as it excites me. We'll get on this journey together, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Hey Deepa, I just wanted to ask for the audiobooks. Is there any link or something that I can get audiobooks on, or is it the Amazon one that we usually can prefer?
So for audiobook, if you just go to YouTube, for example, for this book also, there's a beautiful narration on YouTube. I'll send the link to that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So there is a beautiful narration to this book where the author himself is narrating the book, and what he says in the audiobook is different from what you will see in the book. So you'll not be able to compare, because seeing is illustration. So the audiobook that he has created is a very different version. It's the same content, but he elaborates it more, because it is.
Yeah, because he's explaining it. It's not you.
Yeah. So he, all the visual illustrations in the book, he actually talks about them. So that's how the audiobook is. Right. So I'll share the PDF and the audiobook once we have kind of finalized the group and we have created a new group. I'll share all of that in that group. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful rest of the Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll meet when we meet. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Deepa.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Deepa. Have a good
Thanks.
weekend. Bye.